doing? Okay. We're just doing a sales presentation with a recording and no problem. Okay, so Danie, I'm going to ask you for your help. Okay. Please take a calculator.
Yes.
Put 5,000 Rand in there.
Okay.
And add
Yes.
4%.
Okay.
What is my total?
5,200.
5,200 is my total. Danie, I'm now going to ask you 5 questions.
Okay.
You ready for it?
Yes.
My first question is, how much profit did you make?
200 Rand.
Please, let me stop here. When you make the comparison between what Danie and I did, you will see that the critical thing that he's not doing well enough for me is he's not asking 5 individual questions. So I'm going to explain to you what makes it so critical. My first question to Danie is, what is the profit you made? What happens in his mind when I ask him that question?
200 Rand.
He goes in a split second and he calculates 5,200 Rand minus the 5,000 that I started with, and he says, my profit is
200.
So he's now calculated it himself. I didn't tell him. He calculated it himself. Watch this now. So Danie, how long did it take you to make $200?
A full year.
A year.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to stop there again. What happened in his mind in that brief second?
200 Rand for the whole year.
Well, he did a calculation about the time period now. Am I right?
Yes. Okay.
All right. Watch this now. My third question is, what did you start with?
5,000.
5,000.
What do you think happens in his mind now?
He's comparing the money.
Fuck. 5,000 gives me what?
200 Rand.
After how long?
A year.
He is doing this himself, not me doing it for him. Watch my next question. So, Danie, I want to know from you now. A guy like you, what can you do with $200? What can you do with 200 Rand?
Not that much, eh?
Well, let's say I take it out of my pocket right now today
Yeah.
and I give it to you. What can you do with $200?
Buy mints.
Cheap mints.
Okay? But now you've waited a year for it. Okay, let me go outside of the presentation. I said to him, what can you do with that money? And I kept quiet. What is happening in his mind?
Thinking what he can do.
He's
What
thinking.
does it work for him?
Well, he's not thinking
And what do
he
you
can
think
do,
is he thinking?
How little he can do with it.
Well, he's starting to connect. Oh, fuck, $200. Can you put a tank of petrol in your car with 200 Rand?
That's what I was thinking about. Quarter tank petrol.
Depending on your vehicle.
Can you
and where you
take
gonna go?
Can you take your partner for a meal at a nice restaurant?
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Can you go to the movies with 200 Rand?
No,
Unless you without
it
popcorn.
doesn't even bring me to Stock Market College in 2 days.
Does it even cover your traveling money?
No.
So now I say to Danie, my first question is it worth it?
For sure not. No.
Okay, I can now dramatize it. I'm going to go to question number 6. So why are you doing it, Danie?
That's the only thing I know.
It's the only thing you know. Is that why you're so desperate to learn more about shares?
Yes.
Is that why you really want to do it so well?
Yes.
Because you've realized that then you're on the road to nowhere.
For sure.
There's a song like
I'm on the road to nowhere. Where does it go? Something like that, eh? You can see we're like all the same age. We trying to have sex with girls and listening to music, you know. Still trying to have sex with girls. Maybe not listening to music anymore. Okay, let me continue. Okay, so it's not worth it.
No.
I want to show you something interesting. You did say to me that your profit is $200, am I right?
Yes.
You made that in how long?
1 year.
How many days in a year?
365.
So listen carefully to what I'm doing now. So Danie, how would I calculate how much money I'm going to make every day? How do I work that out?
I take the 200 and I divide it by 365 days.
Now, before you do it, did you see I didn't tell him? I didn't say to him, grab the calculator, take 200 Rand divided by 365 days to show you. I asked him, so how much money you have? Okay, how many days is there in a year?
365.
Okay, how would you calculate how much do you make every day? So he's telling me. Okay, so put $200 in there, in your calculator, and then?
Divided by 365 days. 54 cents.
54 cents?
Per day.
Let's go back to the recording. So, how much are you making a day, Danie?
54 cents.
With how much money?
5,000 Rand.
Bye-bye, Mike. So, Danie, if you put 10,000 Rand in the bank, how much will it make you?
Well, 1 Rand 8 cents.
Why are you laughing?
It's ridiculous.
Did you see and hear that? Danie does this presentation every day. But here we're in a role play, and he's actually laughing at it, saying, fuck, that's ridiculous. Did you see the body language there? Did you see his behavior? He sniggered and said, and all I had to do is say, why are you laughing? Okay, so it's ridiculous.
Yes.
So if you keep going like this,
I'm going to work until I'm 100.
okay,
I can't
so
retirement.
I want to just understand something. This whole dream of you having money to retire,
Yes.
what's going to happen to that?
It's never going to happen.
Can I say you screwed?
For sure.
Okay, let me stop. Let's talk about this. Give me feedback. Yes, Dean.
So you tell him you're going to show him what it's doing for him every day. How would you calculate? And then you ask him, how would you calculate that?
Yes.
Is that okay? Yeah.
You keep the client in control.
Let me tell you something that's really important. I shouldn't confess this. I've done training for so long, I'm actually on autopilot. I'm thinking about a whole lot of other stuff that's happening in my life, this, that, whatever, and I'm talking to you, Oaks, and I won't even remember 2 minutes from now what I said. Okay, I'm joking. I'm thinking about all these things, but I'll definitely remember what I said. Because as a good salesman, you've got to have a great memory. It's like, but in any case, I get carried away. What I do in my sales presentation, Dean, and this is really, really important, you've got to guard. Danie's got to specifically, if you make a comparison between what he did and I did, can I summarize what's the difference? He's telling people stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
You're getting them to tell themselves.
I'm asking them questions which forces them to think and then tell me.
And you broke that up a little bit too many times. First weekly, then monthly, then annually.
I don't think he did that badly. So there's another piece of positive criticism I want to give him. There's two things that he can do a lot better. He mustn't tell people. He must ask the right questions in this format to get it going. You've got to put people on the spot, make them think and answer you. There's one other thing. I don't know if he's doing it just because it's role play and because he's done it so many times.
Multiply on the calculator.
No.
No.
Because he said multiply instead of add the percent.
No, you can do that. I'm going to stop the recording. I'm putting the recording back on because I'm not at the point where I'm going to talk about sex. So I want you to hear what I'm saying now. Listen to what I do in my presentation. I say to Danie, tell me, how much profit did you make? And then I shut up. I do not say another word until I've given my client time to think about his answer and he's told me. And then I say, okay, let me ask you the next question. How long did it take you? And I shut up. If you don't give your client enough time to think about his response and you jump to the next point too quickly, it won't have any impact. You won't be effective with getting them emotionally involved by, oh, this is not cool. So I've almost got to stop the recording. I can't do longer than an hour. It's not a race. Relax. Talk nicely to the person. Get all the information you want. It is much better to sit there for an hour and a half and leave with the deal in the pocket and you've made some spectacular money than to sit there for an hour and you leave and you've made no money.
Worked for me today.
Don't rush. Fully engage your client. Give him time to respond to the questions you ask. Get him emotionally involved. It's not a race. It's not a race. Listen to them. Chat. It's not a race. Everyone there? You saw the comparison. So what Danie needs to practice is he needs to practice to slow down, but from a practical point, he needs to practice. Let me say to the person, 5,000 Rand. What is the total? Write it down. Okay, my first question is, how much profit did you make? And then he's got to keep quiet and get it. And his second question is, okay, how long did it take? And he's got to keep quiet and wait for the person to respond. And then he's got to go to the next step and say, okay, what did you start with? And he's got to make sure that the person that he's with thinks about these things and suddenly realize, oh shit, I've made 200 Rand. Oops, how long did it take? A year. To make 200 Rand, what did I need to get going? Oh my God, 5,000 bucks. Jeez. All right, what can I do with it? Ooh, nothing. If a guy says to me, nothing, I insist. Tell me something. Okay, I'll put 5,000 Rand in the bank for a year to make enough money to put a quarter of petrol in my tank. Do you know, if I put it in perspective, that means if you have 20,000 Rand in the bank, that's going to make you enough money to put petrol in, to fill your tank once in a whole year. I think the short story, the whole reason for us doing this part of the presentation is to make my client realize that if he keeps his money in mainstreams in investments,
Wasting time and money.
he's never going to reach anything. I mean, I've got 40 seconds left. Who knows anyone who put their money in the bank or some insurance policy and these people became stinkingly, filthily rich?
That's actually part of my pitch. I asked them, name one person. One person that you know that has actually retired comfortably of what they have at the moment. Nobody's ever been able to say.
Okay, so we need to do this to prove to people that they're never going to become rich if they just keep doing this. They need to make a change.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.